So, welcome back to part two of setting up your blog. Today we're going to be talking about how to manage your dashboard, how to make an actual blog post, and how to add some gadgets to your blog. So we're going to just take a look at this area called your dashboard, and you can always get to your dashboard by clicking on the little blogger B here. That will always bring you back to this dashboard area. You can see this button called New Blog. If you click on that, that's ultimately going to create a new blog for you. So if you can remember way back when we set up our blog, it looked just like this. This might come in handy if you're adding multiple student blogs under your Google login and you want to add 25 blogs. You could do it right here and manage them from your dashboard. You could also have multiple personal blogs of your own if you'd like. The interesting thing about Blogger is there are a lot of ways to do the same thing, and you'll find this as you start to play around with Blogger a little bit. And I'll show you an example of this. You can actually click here on this little down arrow, and you can take a look at your stats, your layout, your template, your settings of your blog, and you can do the very same thing by clicking on your blog and taking a look on the left-hand side. As you can see, it's almost exactly the same thing. So some of the features of Blogger are presented on this particular page. And what you can do is you can actually see your blog posts by clicking on posts. This will show all of the blog posts that you've made over the course of having your blog. You can look at pages. You can actually look at all the comments that have been left on your blog. You can remove the comments, delete them or mark them as spam. And you can check the stats of your blog, which is an interesting feature here. And you can check page views by day, by month, and of all time. You can actually see and watch the traffic of your blog via page views and via the stats feature here. So we're going to actually talk a little bit about gadgets. So to do that, before we make our actual blog post, we're going to click on Layout. And if you can remember in the video that we set up our design template in, we chose a layout, and it looked a little bit like this. And now we're going to be adding gadgets to the layout area of our blog. So I'm going to show you an example of what a gadget actually is. And you can click on one of these little blue link bars here, and this is a list of all of the Google gadgets, and there are a lot of them. You can actually, on your own time, just go through and see if there are any that interest you. There are some cool ones here. We're going to be, just today I'm going to show you how to add an image to your blog. So this is going to add the image not necessarily to your blog post, but it's going to add it to the shell of your blog. So the designer, the design, the template design of your blog. So it'll stay there no matter if your blog posts change. The outline of your blog, similar to what we created in the last video, the image will stay in it. So I'm going to show you how to add an image. And I'm just going to play around here. Google car. And you can of course add an image from your computer, or you can add an image from the internet, from Google Images, just by pasting the URL right here. I'm just going to choose one from my computer. And get my car. And it's actually going to shrink the car to fit the space, so I'm going to save it. And you can see here where I had clicked Add a Gadget, that's where the car is. So I can preview what that's going to look like in my blog by clicking Preview, and there's my little car. So you can add pictures of kids, you can add different images, images of books, images of authors, of yourself, any image that you want to put in your blog as a gadget, you can do so. Like I said, this Google car will stay here. It's part of my template design. Even though I'm going to be adding information and posts into my post section, this car will always be here unless I remove it. And I'm going to show you how to do that now. So to get out of my preview, I'm just going to X out, and it's going to bring me back to my layout area. And I want to get rid of this car. So to do that, I just go over to my gadget area. I click Edit, scroll down, and I can remove it just by clicking Remove. Okay. And it's gone. The other gadget that I want to show you how to add is following by email. And I already have it in here, so I'm going to just delete that and add it again. So I'm going to add a gadget here. Again, my gadget menu pops up, and I'm going to find follow by email. Click the plus. You can change your title. I'm going to type follow Rochelle's blogs by email, and then I'm going to save it. And here it is, so I can preview it. And anyone who wants to follow my blog, I can't do anything here because it's just a preview, can just type in their email address and submit it. So you could have a parent communication blog where at the beginning of the school year, you have your parents type in their email, send you their email addresses, and you type them in, or you can have your parents actually go to the blog and enter their own email address, and once they submit it, they'll automatically receive your blog once you make a new post. So I'm going to X out of that, and we'll add one more gadget. Again, go back into the gadgets, take a look at them, see which ones you want to add. You can add a search box. I will show you how to do that. Click Save, and it will add Search This Blog, Preview, and here it is. So very simple. And it will act just like any other search bar that you use. It's going to be searching your blog. So if you're going to be, if you do a blog post on Dr. Seuss, and you did it a year ago, if you type in Dr. Seuss, it's going to call up that blog post. So it's kind of a neat feature. So that is gadgets. And now we're going to actually go into our blog and make a blog post. So I just went back to my dashboard, and to create a new post, I'm going to click the pen, and it's going to call up this screen right here. Now anytime you make a new post, this is where you're going to do it. You're going to give your post a title, and I'm going to do March newsletter. I'm going to pretend that this is a class newsletter. That's going to be the title of my blog. Now in this white box here is where I'm going to type all of my information. You don't have to type it all out. What you can do is, and this is what I've done, go into any document that's on your computer. Now prior to having a blog, I had all of my newsletters in Word, and what I would do is just print them out monthly, photocopy them, and hand them out to my students to bring home to their parents. So now, having a classroom communication blog, I can just take my old newsletters, copy the text, go back to my blog, and paste it in. And then I can change my dates, change any information that I want to, but the main body that I've already worked so hard to create is there. So maybe you're not in the type of setting where you're going to be using a communication newsletter, so this might not apply to you, but the key is being able to use existing information and existing documents. As a teacher, I'm sure you have a lot, and just actually copy and paste it into your blog and use them. You can also make it look a lot better. You can change things about it by using the toolbar, and I'll just walk you through the toolbar right now. The toolbar is very similar to a Word toolbar. and by Word I mean Microsoft Word. We have the undo button, the font. So if you want to change your font here, you can do that. Just keep in mind that when you created your design template in the last video, you had already chosen a font for your blog post. So any changes that you make here are going to just be specific to this blog post. Your default font will stick going forward. So if I wanted to just change Dear Parents to be Georgia, I could do that, but in my next blog post, I'm not going to have Georgia as part of my fonts. It's going to go back to my default font that I chose when I set up my initial design template way back when. You can change the size of your font. You can actually call out what you want to showcase as a heading. So here, let's say I want to say monthly newsletter. I can highlight that, and then I can make that a heading, and it will automatically make it look like a heading. I can bold, italicize, and underline things, just like in Word. I can make things different colors. So if I want to use red, again, this is all stylistic, and depending on how much time you want to spend on it, I can highlight. And then I can add certain things to my blog post. I can add links, and to do that, you just click on link right here. Add your text. So I'm going to use Google as my link. And click OK, and there's my Google link. So I just click on it, and it will bring me to Google. So maybe you want to have a link to an author's website, or a cool new math site that you've discovered, or YouTube, or something, or a specific YouTube video. You can add that here. I'm just going to remove it. Okay. Next, you can actually add pictures to your blog. So this is separate from the picture that we added of the little beetle car, because that went on the outside of the blog post. It's going to be in my design template. This is going to go inside the blog post, and I can insert any image. I can choose images from my blog. I can choose images from Picasa web albums from my phone. So if you're in your classroom and you're taking snapshots of your students from your phone, you can actually use those images in your blog very simply. You can actually use images from a webcam or from a URL. So if you go to Google Images and you want to use the URL from your particular image that you find online, you can do that. I'm just going to choose a file from my computer to add to my blog. And you can actually do multiple, so I'm going to do that. It's just going to take a minute. Or a whole bunch of minutes. Here we go, one down. And we're good. Okay, so then I can add selected. Okay, so it just put in my two pictures, and I can actually change the size of the pictures and make some edits to the pictures. So I'll show you how to do that. So you just click on the picture. You can make it small, medium, original size, I'm going to go back to medium. So you can play around with the size of the image. You can choose if it's left justified, center, or right justified. You can add a caption. So I'm going to do that. Spider investigation. You can remove your caption, and you can remove the image itself by clicking remove here. I'm just going to center that. So here are my two images. Okay, I'm going to show you how to remove one. There's that, that's gone. Okay. The next thing I'm going to show you how to add is an actual video. So you click on that icon. You can upload a video from your computer. You can actually drag and drop if you would like. You can upload a video from YouTube. Okay, and here you can actually search YouTube. So let's say I want to find a video on spiders. Okay, I'm going to type spiders for kids. I can actually select a YouTube video to put into my blog. And there it is. So anyone who sees my blog can watch my video. Okay. And if at any time while you're doing this you want to preview your blog, you can very easily do it by just previewing. There we go. There it is. There's my picture. There's my video. And I'll X out of that. Don't forget to save as well. Okay, so just a couple of other things to touch upon. I actually like to use this feature quite a bit. What that will do is it'll put a break in your blog. So here I have my newsletter. Maybe I want to talk about my spider investigation next. So I put in a break there. I'll show you with a preview. It puts in a little break line right there. The other thing I want to point out too is if you remember early on in our settings that we did for our design, our template design, we chose a font for our captions for our pictures, and we chose whether or not we wanted our pictures to have a border. So if you can see here, there's like a very light gray border around my picture. Okay, and that's my preview. Okay. And the other thing I wanted to show you is just a few more things that you can do that are very similar to what you can do in Word. You can align your text here. You can align left, align center, you can align right. Justify it, just have to select the text that you want. You can actually add a numbered list and bullets. You can add a quote. You can remove any formatting that you might do here by clicking that. So I just removed that formatting right there by clicking that X, and then you can do spell check pretty easily. So that's a great tool too. Okay, so let's say my post is now ready. I can do two things. I can either publish it or I can save it. So let's say I don't want to publish it right away. I've worked on it. I'm not completely done. I'm waiting for some pictures from a floating and sinking investigation that we're doing today in class. So I just save it, and I can go back to it. And how I do that is by going to my dashboard. Oops. Clicking posts, I could also do that by clicking on the blog and clicking on posts on the left-hand side, like here. And here are my posts. Now, all of my posts show up here and they're showing up as drafts. That's because I have not published them. So what I can do is I can either edit, preview, or delete my post. So I'm going to edit this one. This is the one that I was just working on, so I can go back to it and I can make any changes that I want. So now I'm ready to publish. So to do that, I just click publish, and now my blog is published. So anyone who goes to my Blogspot can now see the most recent post of my blog. The other cool thing about blogs is that they're archived. So if you set up a blog archive, which I did on my particular blog template, I don't want that. View blog. All of my blogs are archived right here. So I have my 2014 blogs. I've made one post, but if I want to go back to my other blogs, any past blogs that I've set up or posted during the during the year, I can very easily go back to past blogs and read them. Close out of this. So I just published my blog, and that means that if I have a new blog post, anyone who's an email subscriber is going to get it in their email inbox. Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about before we sign off is actually privacy settings. And I find that this is very important, especially as a teacher working with kids. You want to make sure that your blog is only being seen by who you want to see it, whether it be parents or students or other classrooms around the world. But you can very selectively limit who sees your blog. So we're going to just go to our dashboard and click on settings. I'll just go through some of the basic settings and then talk to you about the privacy settings. So basic settings, you can edit your title, you can change your title, you can change your description. You can actually, right here, change your blog address. So if you wanted to change, if I wanted to go from secretsforsuperteachers.blogspot.com to something else, I could change that here. I can also add a custom domain. So if I wanted to go from being a blogspot to just a .com and be an actual website, I can add a custom domain if I want to here. But obviously you have to buy your custom domain and make sure it's available. So to go back to privacy settings, you want to make sure you know who is seeing your blog. So right now, my privacy is that I'm listed on Blogger, so anyone who's on Blogger can find my blog on Blogger and add me to their reading list. And I'm also visible to search engines, so anyone who Googles my blog or Googles me or Googles something about my blog or in my blog is able to see my blog. And I can edit this, and I'm going to show you how. So if you don't want to be featured in Blogger's blog listings, you can click off No. And if you don't want search engines to be able to find your blogs, you can actually change that too and just save the changes. Okay. You can actually have control over the authors of your blog. So right now you're the admin, you're the author of your blog, but let's say you wanted to set up like a classroom forum or a classroom blog where you had multiple authors. So each student in your class could be an author of the blog at a certain time. You can actually add authors by clicking on Add Authors here. And you can invite other authors, and you invite them via their email address. So if I add rochelle@gmail.com and invite myself, it tells me that I have an open invitation. So it's sending an email to rochelle@jognog.com, or at rochelle@gmail.com, and it's telling me that it's an open invitation. So Rochelle@gmail has not accepted my request to be an author of the blog. So you just have to add authors via email. So the other setting that you want to be able to be editing is your readers. Right now my blog is public, so anyone in the world can read it. Someone can stumble upon my blog, they can just Google it and find it, but I don't want the public to be able to see my blog. There are a couple of privacy settings. The first one is private, so the only blog authors can see it. It says your blog is restricted so that only blog authors can read it. So if you have you and all of your students as authors, you will be the only ones who can see the blog. And then Similarly, you can click private and you can select the readers that you want to be able to read your blog. And this might be parents and students, and what you need to do is just add your readers by adding their email, or you can choose from contacts. So if you have a contact list in Gmail, you can actually import email addresses from Gmail, and I'll show you how to do that. I'll just click on it. And for some reason my computer is not responding. I don't know why. Anyways, you can actually click this button, and what will happen is your address list from Gmail will pop up, and you'll be able to just check off who you want to be able to read your blog, and then you just click Save Changes here. So those are some of the privacy settings. Just be aware of those, obviously, if you're using a classroom blog or if you're featuring student work. You want to be very conscious of who is able to see that. The other thing you want to be able to modify or monitor is your posts and your comments. If you are changing the number of posts that are able to be seen, you can do that right here. And then let's just look at comments. Who can comment on your blog? Do you want anyone to be able to comment? Only registered users? Only a user with a Google account? Or only members of this blog? So you can choose who can comment. Comment moderation. Do you want to be able to moderate or see who is commenting on your blog and control what they are saying? You can actually do that. So if you click always and enter your email address here, you can see the comments before they hit your page. You have to approve them first. And then once you've chosen your setting, you click Save Settings. Just trying to pick out what's most important for you. Okay. I'm going to go back to my dashboard. So hopefully you have the tools necessary to be able to set up your classroom blog, and I've been giving you a lot of suggestions and information over the course of these 2 videos, so hopefully you'll be able to take that and kind of change it and make it flex to what you want to do, specific to the teacher that you are, your style, your grade level, obviously your students and parents, and I look forward to actually seeing your blog, so good luck.